Hello, and welcome back to another week of astrology. My name is Henry Harrison. Thank you for watching my videos, subscribing to my channel, liking this video. Thank you for everything that you do. We're going to look at the week of astrology. So, thanking God that we can have the understanding and the wisdom to look into this mystery in the name of Jesus. Amen. Let's look into it. So today's Wednesday for me. So we'll just take a little bit of a look back here. Hope you all are doing good out there this week. Monday with the Mars Saturn conjunction for me was very it's in my sixth house, so it was very mental. It was like a complete breakthrough, like with what I thought was going on, which is to say, like, you know, I just came to a very deep place of not knowing, because it's hard to understand everything and how everything fits together a lot of the time, but it's important at those times to really go through with it, because it makes you know it makes you know better. It can put you in a place where you can find out. So it was good for me, and Venus moving into Pisces is good too, but there's just a lot of haters, a lot of haters out there. So just hang in there. I'm sure you've got your own version of that for sure, but we've heard some confirmed haters out there. So it's funny, man. God is so good. Anyway, let's just look at next week. So, the rest of this week is pretty dynamic, with Mars squaring the nodes at the south bending. But as we get into Sunday, the moon is in Leo. We've just come out of that very nice Cancer moon in a lot of ways, probably. And it's pretty I don't know, that was probably nice. But on Sunday, with the moon in Leo and opposing Saturn, taking a look at Sunday, I guess, there's just a lot that's out of the ordinary, I guess, that it's not really a straight line sort of call here. But with Mercury moving into Taurus, I think Mercury does a little bit better, right? I think Mercury has some triplicity in Taurus. Let me look at that. Maybe not at all. No, Mercury, it doesn't have any triplicity, so it's definitely, Mercury isn't having too much dignity, but, is moving very fast. Let's look at that. Let's look at the sky map. And I think just like kind of being, anyway, I don't know, that doesn't really tie into what I'm looking at here, but so the Mercury is, he's moving up above the ecliptic. So Mercury crossed the ecliptic before he went to Taurus, right? So look at that. Mercury's moving so fast, clearing a couple degrees every day, moving above the ecliptic. So this is like a very significant transition with Mercury themes, seeing that Mercury is you know, and we all know Mercury does. But Mercury is crossing the ecliptic on this time, and so that's probably a pretty significant moment of transition for Mercury kind of stuff. Mercury's moving really fast, and he's going to be very soon moving slow too, though. So that's kind of what I wanted to look at here. Look at the very left of the screen here. Mercury will start to move downwards and start to move back towards the ecliptic in the middle of May. So Mercury doesn't really start slowing down now. Like pretty much Mercury is really fast through Taurus, and then when Mercury gets to the beginning of Gemini, that's really when he slows down, it seems to me. So probably a pretty dynamic time with Mercury and Uranus in the North Node together. Again here, looking at just that a little further. Mercury will move downwards across the ecliptic, moving retrograde in mid-May. And I think that's, let's see, look at mid-May. You know, we've got the eclipse, so Mercury retrograde with the eclipse in Scorpio. So we're really, everything that happens this week has been happening. It has this element of fate and, you know, certain, I don't want to say finality, but, you know, like, you know, things are going a certain way, and it's not as if like the doors are all shutting, but there's like a certain way that we're gonna be going, and you can kind of, it's like it's this weird eclipse energy thing for real. Sorry about that. Let me take some of these points off. I think they're not helping me right now. Take Fortune off the chart too. Let's take Black Moon Lilith off the chart. I've been just putting it all on. Now that I kind of have more of a fix on what these things do. Where's that? I guess it's in the asteroids. It's not really an asteroid. Moons and nodes. There we go. Anyway, so that's next month, and Jupiter will be there. We have already talked about how Jupiter will be in Aries during Mercury retrograde. And that's like at the end of Taurus season too. Where does the Cazimi happen? Okay, it actually happens in Gemini, so there will be a Mercury retrograde Cazimi in Gemini after the eclipse season. So kind of, this is like the lay. I would just want to say this is kind of the lay of things between now and then. We've got the moon here this week. Bring it back to now. So we got this last about 3 weeks until the eclipse. So if things kind of feel like they're all on a certain track towards a certain outcome, I mean they are, right? So you just got to kind of do this month. I mean, it's not as if, you know, we got a whole moon cycle to go through before that happens. So there's like a whole story, a whole scheme of events that come about here. But to kind of bring it back to Sunday, so the moon really isn't that in good a shape the whole time in the Leo moon. I mean, the ruler of the moon is exalted, which is the first Leo moon we've had with this stronger sun. You know, the sun's been in a weaker state because of the winter time in the northern hemisphere. But so the moon is kind of strong in that respect. But let's see how many days of Leo moon. So on Sunday, you know, with Mercury being in the anaretic degree of Aries, you know, with the sun into squaring Pluto, coming off that square, probably kind of weird, kind of intense with everything. I would say the moon's not really doing anything though, so I don't know if it just kind of feels weird. I don't know. It's kind of like this transitionary day on Sunday, but on Monday the moon is making all these aspects. So as we wake up in North America, and back to Sunday, you know, with the moon trining Chiron, it definitely is kind of like finishing maybe this very intense focus on Chiron that we've had sort of until Jupiter moves into Aries, but that's later. Jupiter will at least be co-present with Chiron. I don't know how far Jupiter gets into Aries, but on Monday, not really not a very fun day, I would say. The moon opposing Saturn. So, and then it's going to oppose Mars with the nodes in between. So this is highlighting all that nodal stuff with Mars and Saturn. So because it's the Leo moon, I think we're definitely choosing to be more individual, since Saturn and Mars won't be opposing any of the first 2 decans, I think, of Leo anymore. Maybe Saturn will be with the retrograde. Let's look at that. Saturn here. I don't think Saturn goes back into the 2nd decan of Aquarius. Oh, it does actually. How long does that go on? Okay, but it doesn't. It only gets back as far as 18 and a half or so. So I think the moon, as it hits different Leo placements people have, will be expressing pretty boldly, especially in the beginning of the moon's transit through the sign. But the sorry, bring it back. That's just an important one to know, because those placements will be and have been able to express themselves more freely, even with the overall sign-based opposition to Leo placements. But this first half of it I think it feels a little bit more free, and we're able to kind of relish in the fruit of our knowledge and things like that. So the moon is in a building up to a trine with the sun, so I think there's a sense of the tide turning, and it's just so interesting how the haters, to put it that way, have just been so committed and become so committed to that way of thinking, that I don't know if they'll be able to get out of it. I think if you really got really committed to an ignorant viewpoint during the Mars-Saturn conjunction, then because I think the Sun and Saturn can kind of agree on truth in a way. Saturn is and I think it's more of the Mars stuff, and the both the Saturn and Mars kind of causing trouble together. But I don't know. I don't really see how you could not kind of view all of the planets as being related to truth in some way. It's definitely a total process of truth. Astrology is, or the heaven is. But what's the point? The Sun and Saturn, if I'm going to consider them and how they don't agree, they definitely have to agree on this central thing, I think. And so the moon is kind of basking in both of that, kind of more on the Sun side of that understanding, and the Saturnian side is also there. But we were kind of talking about hateful people in society, just how people are just kind of doubled down on that and kind of lock that in, and I don't really see that going away. Maybe it does as Mars goes into Pisces, but I think that this commitment to the cancel culture stuff and things of that sort, they'd be kind of stuck over there, right? And if you're more on the Leo side, I think the tides are turning towards that, if not now, in the long run for sure, as Saturn doesn't oppose a lot of this Leo stuff anymore. Neither does Mars. So there's a sudden maybe sense of vindication, I guess, for having continually. It's kind of the Saturn side of it, maybe continually standing by what you are, what you represent, who you are. Leo is very much like I am this, and that's it. Despite maybe what you, anything else. Um, and so maybe we lean into that on Sunday and Monday. Um, in the beginning, I think there is like kind of like, you still gotta make sure everything accords with the time, and there's definitely still a conflict going on with the Mars thing there too. But anyway, the moon will move into Mercury's sign of Gemini on Tuesday when the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction happens. So the moon is opposing Jupiter, Neptune, Venus, but actually doesn't even make an opposition to Venus for a whole day. And that's kind of surprising to me, because that means Venus is moving pretty quick, even as quick as the moon. Not as quick as the moon, but Venus is moving pretty quick, and so it takes a whole day. So the moon is kind of coming off this like very hard edge with the Mars and Aquarius stuff, which at this point is, it's like it's on the way out, but it's kind of like, I think about like Jesus talks about, the gin and the snare, and the the stone of stumbling and the rock of offense. You have to put that one together, I guess, for yourself, but it's kind of like people are getting tripped up on this one, and they're not gonna be able to really find their way out of it. I mean, I think to a lot of the detriment of everyone, but it's just people have gotten so scared, and that selfish nature of Mars, I see it being expressed. And so that's kind of like the trap on one side, but there is definitely the spiritual good side of things happening in Pisces to an extent. I mean, Pisces is not only rainbows kind of stuff, but anyway, that's really not the focus here. I mean, we come out of that, and the moon is in Mercury's sign. Mercury is in Taurus, ruled by Venus in Pisces. So I think there is like suddenly a turn towards the spiritual, towards things kind of coming together in detail through like a mystical kind of process here, and that's kind of surprising. And I think I've hammered so much on people that are kind of stuck on the Aquarius side of the negative aspects of society, are offended, they're upset, they've they've given up on things of the spirit, and just simple neighborliness and love and generosity, that I think they find themselves very much stranded, and that's kind of some of this Mars stuff there. But with Mercury and Taurus, I think we're focusing on the practical side of things, things of comfort, and I think that it can go a lot better than maybe we'd hoped, and it's like better than you hoped. I think Mercury is not super hopeful. It's pretty cynical, especially like the Virgo stuff. Virgo, 12th from Virgo is the sun. So I mean, Mercury and the sun have this kind of very, very interesting relationship. But Mercury and the sun are not co-present here. So I think it's pretty good. And I bet it seems pretty good with Jupiter Neptune happening. But here's another thought I was having, if I may. So like Jupiter Neptune, let me get some water. Jupiter, like Neptune, the Neptune stuff really can like kind of blank out what the planet would signify. Like when the planet is with Neptune, it kind of takes it into the Neptune dimension, and sort of the maybe the more mundane or the simple expressions of that planet are not there. And I know like in this channel, like we've looked at the Berlin Wall falling and like that footage of what that was like, and it's very very odd how like the element of the wall is just it's just like kind of blanked out. It doesn't exist anymore. Like because of the higher authorities, there's no wall there, and so maybe like, and I think there's a sense of like things being maybe like uh, in this sort of not seen place in a way, and I think that's kind of weird for the moon here in Virgo. But I think it's peaceful anyway. It's definitely peaceful and material oriented. Even if it's very mystical, very out there with everything. But the moon is picking up on this opposition with Venus, who is herself not with Neptune, even though the ruler, or the Nomasov ruler, is with Neptune for sure. And that's Tuesday. The moon applies the trine to Mercury. Just it looks like things are flowing, but it's kind of, I think it's probably a time to kind of like pick up the pieces and do actuarial stuff if possible. I don't know how possible that will be, but it's very all in the one in a way, if you will. But the Mercury element is strong. It's in a good way. It's just strange times. I think when Neptune and Uranus are showing up in the chart, it's a strange time. Sorry about that. I had to lean down. Where it's a time that's kind of watched over by, literally watched over by a higher power. So kind of critical, kind of a little out there at least. Jesus' name. But the Sun will be in a good alignment with Saturn. I think the Sun and Saturn are both kind of happy with this arrangement, the structuring, this way of ordering, and stuff like that. So it seems very serious and far out too. But as we get into Wednesday, the moon will just be. Well, actually, the moon has been applying to Venus this whole time, so probably feels good. The gears are they're greased up and it's working well. Oh, one sec. Anyway, the moon will be opposing Venus. Jupiter will be at the trine and the sextile to the south and the north node, respectively. So Jupiter trining the south node. I think there's like a transcendental hope. It's like more than ordinary, and there's like a transcendental. I don't know. It's just very very mysterious, very very far out how things are coming about, and how it just doesn't really stop. Even mundane experiences and situations are being very much conditioned by all of that, and so it's different. The moon will be applying to Uranus. So what else is it applying to? Jupiter, I guess. Jupiter's the only other visible body, the moon is applying to, and that's doesn't perfect until about 24 hours. So it's interesting now that the moon is applying to Neptune first and then Jupiter. So Jupiter has left Neptune by a little tiny bit. So hopefully there's like a sense of actual order, actual tangible hope and growth, and awareness of hope. And I think a lot of people have lost that here. The experience of hope has become so out there that it's not even really visible in a way. So for some people, it's like not even going on. And I think that's very frustrating. I think we'll see how this closeness of Jupiter and Neptune will really condition all the Venus and Pisces stuff that we have for the next month. It's just going to be very, very chaotic, I think. But the moon will be just pretty much trine to Uranus on Wednesday, and that's it. And then, but it's Moon, Uranus, Neptune, and that is definitely indicating some pretty different, unexpected, transcendental events, situations. And then the moon connects to the nodes as well. So it all talks about kind of setups of situations and things that we don't really have much to know about, but maybe in my view, it's like more angelic or higher world kind of stuff happening, and even that is conditioning the mundane circumstances. So definitely do not lose hope this week. There's definitely it goes to this level. It goes to a really high level with the things that are determining some simple mundane stuff. I mean, this is a moon in Virgo we've been talking about, and that's Mercury in Taurus. So very interesting. But on Thursday, the moon will be opposing Jupiter, and then Neptune sextiles the North Node. So it's just very foggy, very faded, very, stepping into your power kind of stuff. And then the moon will in the afternoon. So kind of weird stuff on Thursday. Maybe kind of pick up on that. Moon trine Pluto, I usually do. Doesn't quite feel totally void to me with the moon usually with that one. But the moon will move into Libra and be in Libra, Venus in Pisces, and then while the moon is in Libra, ruled by Venus in Pisces, the moon will go into Pisces, or Mars will go into Pisces, heating things up again in Pisces. So but I think it's interesting because now, instead of having this very like problems in society and the structures of things, like there being problems kind of around that, we get like a more like easygoing attitude with easygoing, I say, with Saturn and Aquarius, but in a sense, the day sect people, things kind of chill out there again. It's very uncomfortable to have Mars there, ruining things that really should just be, just already having enough problems there anyway. But the Mars problems move to where Venus is and Jupiter are, and where Neptune is. So as we have the moon move into Libra, let's look at that. Very little bit. The moon's not really aspecting anything, and then Mars moves into Pisces. So I guess I want to emphasize the most of just how Neptune heavy this whole week is, because, somehow or other after the Leo moon, it's moon being somehow influenced by the Neptune element and the Mars element. But I think I was kind of getting to this. Mars being here in Pisces with Neptune will kind of, I think, take some of the edge off of Neptune or Mars somewhat. I kind of see that more. It can also just be some like insane like omnifold like trouble that Mars can create here. So, well, that's like really with the I guess like the Mars Neptune conjunction kind of thing, but but they'll all be together. At least Venus is in a good way, pretty much. We could look at Venus as being a ruler of Pisces in her own right. So, I mean, Venus is doing well. This Libra moon is doing well. It's structurally sound, I think, here with both rulers of. Both the domicile and exaltation ruler of Libra being in a good way. The moon here is there, and then we have the full moon all the way built up. So let's take a look at the other aspects if there were any. So the moon is squaring Pluto as well here with this full moon. It's serious. Feels very critical. I think Pluto has an element of like you have to go the full distance. to achieve the meaning of it, and that can be very, very tiring, be very stressful, be very alienating in a way. Um, I've been thinking, okay, I won't do that. So the full moon here is, it's got Venus and Pisces ruling it on one side, and then the Sun is in Aries, ruled by Mars here, and Mars has triplicity in water signs, so it looks like both the ruler of the moon and the sun are doing well. The sun is doing well, being exaltation ruler of Aries, so it's like a very strong element on the sun side here. Okay, and I don't know. It's the full moon. It is what it is. It's big. It's square Pluto, um, and it's heavy. And the moon is on. This has been a full lunar month since the Aries ingress here, and so this moon at 29 degrees will be the lunar return to that chart. And we've already seen like kind of how stressful that is for people already, and sort of like alienation between the people and the government is very, very strong, and that kind of thing. But it is a strong moon. I think everything about the situation is adding up to something that works. You just have to, I guess, accept and let go of the blocks that you've accumulated about these things, because next week, as the moon moves into Scorpio, after that, it would be a very kind of draining letting go experience. I think this Scorpio moon is when the last day to file your taxes is for Americans. Here you got the moon on South Node, and so I think for a lot of people this is like maybe when with Mars and Pisces here ruling this, it works out somehow. The moon is trine to this Jupiter Neptune thing next week, so just have faith. If you're a Christian, you can just ask God, and He'll give whatever you want in Jesus' name if you ask in faith. So cast all your burdens on God, on Jesus, and just kind of let this week happen. I think the less you worry about what's going on this week, and just kind of do your day at a time. It's all set up. It's very far out, and everybody's going through something like that. So, well, thank you all for listening to me. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful to you all. Very thankful. So I'll be seeing you soon, and I'll very thankful for that too. So I hope you have a good day, good rest of your week. Live it up. So God bless y'all, and I'll see you soon. Peace.